welcome to you another great ASMR video by this weird guy named Walt Disneytendo, and I'm not telling you his real name yet. But today, I, his OC, or original character, cartoon character, Brian the Gnome, am going to read to you a story that's called The Lonely and Friendly Giantess. There was a beautiful yet enormous giantess named Sarah. She was one of the few lucky survivors from a super rare macrovirus that caused her to grow 200 feet tall, or to me, 20 feet tall. She's also on the plus size, and yet very kind and friendly and very sensitive. She can be on the clumsy side at times, accidentally stepping on cars and houses, even animals, even though she doesn't mean it, but yet feels so bad that she'll start to cry. Her tremendous tears could flood a field in a matter of seconds. She doesn't have that many friends because they are much more scared of her than the virus itself, fearing their own lives. One day, while walking sadly through the ELVEN forest, as the tops of the tree went to their waist, she heard a cry for help. "Help me, please, I can't get down," the voice cried. "Oh dear, don't worry, little guy, I'll get you out," she said as she put her very big hand out on the tiny man and jumped out of the tree and into her hand. "You're safe and sound now," she smiled. The man was completely stunned by her gigantic sapphire blue eyes looking down on him. "Hello up there." "Hello up there," the tiny man calls to her. "Oh, hi there, little one," the giantess said kinda shyly. "So, what's your name, Mrs. Giant or JÖTUNESS?" the man asked nervously. "Oh, my name is Sarah. What's yours?" she asked. "My name is Brian Vera, the gnome. It's nice to meet you." "It's nice to meet you, Brian. You're not scared of me at all?" she replied as her freckled cheeks began to blush. "Of course not." Brian smiled up at her and speaking in a sexy Liverpudlian accent. "I've seen you in my dream as the most beautiful giant goddess known to existence as I ride the majestic Pegasus." When Sarah heard those kind words, she blushed bright pink and looked down at Brian. "Ah, you're so very sweet," she said. "Would you like to come with me, Brian?" Why, I love to," Brian answered as his eyes were now hearts. Both the giant and the tiny elven, fey-like gnome boy were falling in love with each other. Next is part 2. When they arrived at the giant's house, Brian was amazed of how gigantic everything was compared to his 1/6 or 1/5 scale place. His eyes were big as saucers. "Wow," he yelled out to her. "This place is huge." "Yup, it sure is." Sarah chuckled. "Down. The government made it for me. Especially for me. Even the TV is custom made. To you, it's bigger than the movie screen at a local drive-in." "That it does, Sarah, definitely," Brian answered back to her. "So you wanna watch a movie, cuddle with me?" Sarah asked her tiny gnomey-like guest. Brian's eyes were now huge hearts. "Yes, you bet I will," Brian cried out. They sat on the couch and had popcorn the size of a truck tires to Brian, and he chose the movie Spirit Stallion of Cameron because he absolutely loves horses. After the movie was over, Sarah put on Brian on the kitchen table and told him her sad story of how she became the giantess she is now. "Ever since I got this macrovirus, I just couldn't stop growing. Within a week, I was taller than a house. To my surprise, the clothes I was wearing grew with me. The taller I grew, the more people were scared of me as I walked into town. And now Everyone's afraid because... As she said, her eyes began to flood with tears, one as big as a car tire or big as a balloon, splashed near Brian. I'm a monster! And the poor giantess, GIANT-HULDRA, began to cry uncontrollably. Oh, Sarah, you poor giant human thing, don't cry, Brian the gnome said kindly. But she went on crying, shedding hundreds and gallons of tears, letting all those bottled up emotions out. After a few minutes of laying it all out, Sarah dried her big sapphire blue eyes and pulled out her handkerchief and blew her nose quite loudly. How are you feeling now, sweetie? How are you feeling now, sweetie? Brian asked her. Much better, thank you, she sniffled. Listen, Sarah, I need to tell you something, Brian told her. Ever since I first laid eyes on you, it was totally love at first sight. Sarah, will you be my forever sweetheart? For I, Brian, Prince of the Elves, or Gnomes, or Fae. Sarah was so deeply touched and picked him up. Yes, Brian, you 18-inch tall thing, I will have the same true feelings for you despite our sizes and our species. I am a human or a JÖTUNESS, while you are an elf or a gnome, or something less human. As more tears rained from her eyes, she gave him a really big kiss and cuddled him like a doll. Oh, Sarah, I just love you so very much, my beautiful goddess, or Huldra, Brian told her as he dried her huge tears. Sobs. Same here for you, my little 18-inch tall gnomey love, or elven love, she replied. From that day on, they were inseparable and did everything together. They walked together in the elven forests with Brian on her shirt pocket or on her backpack. They watched horses together and even strolled through the city away from the forest together. With a little spell, Brian learned for the people not to be afraid of the giant. Soon they were married in a beautiful field and had the most beautiful wedding of the century, and so the giantess and her true tiny, gnomey elven love, with pointed ears, hazel brown eyes, and black hair, lived happily ever after. The end. But however, there's one problem. The gnomes have a law stating that all gnomes cannot be able to be in love with other races, that is, giants, and that they cannot be able to interbreed or be in love with each other. To me, that is fantastic racism. Thinking that, ooh, you cannot interbreed with other races or interbreed with other people. Who cares? Love is love. So, goodbye. And at the end, it is possible that they kiss, going...